Russian people and soldiers flee Belarus so they don't have to fight for Russia. Panicky Lukashenko bans people from leaving the country. Russia and Ukraine war. Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko has begun a brutal crackdown on his people leaving the country as opposition to Vladimir Putin's war with Ukraine continues to erupt. Belarusians rose to prominence like Russians at the very beginning of the Russian-Ukrainian war. The Belarusians have fled abroad. Many of the Belarusian soldiers are trying to escape from the army because they do not want to confront Ukraine. Earlier this month, the president of Belarus reaffirmed his support for Vladimir Putin's war effort in Ukraine, stressing during a visit to Moscow that Minsk supports and will continue to support Russia in its fight against the Nazism. Mr. Lukashenko also stressed that Belarus will be together with Russia in fraternity. But now, he has taken a drastic step on his own country. Mr. Lukashenko has imposed an order to restrict the exit of Belarusian citizens, to prevent the country's people and soldiers from leaving the country. As statistics show, in the past week hundreds of thousands of Belarusians have left their country to protest the war and avoid bloody conflict. Kyiv Independent wrote in a tweet, Belarus has added restrictions on citizens' exit. The draft bill proposes to give the KGB the ability to limit citizens' right to leave the country for up to 6 months if it contradicts the interests of national security, Belarusian Reformation reported. This comes with Lukashenko facing the possibility of a major military uprising amid growing concern in his officer corps about Minsk's alignment with Russia and its support for Russia. War in Ukraine. Last week, all Belarus soldiers asked Mr. Lukashenko not to fight for Russia. They said they would never fight for the Putin aggressor. In a stunning open letter to Lukashenko, senior officers from the 5th Brigade of the Special Forces warned him against sending Belarusian troops to fight in Ukraine, arguing that such action would be pure act of suicide. We don't want to be a murderer and we don't want to be killed in vain like Russian soldiers. They also accused Putin of destroying our sovereignty and, in a further rebuttal, reiterated their support for Ukraine, saying the two countries have always had friendly relations and denounced the war. The Kremlin is completely gratuitous. Lukashenko is starting to impose sanctions to lock down Belarus people in the country, after the escape and attack on Lukashenko and Putin by Belarus soldiers.